Hi, my darlings. I'm Sophie Darling, and welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, hello, my name is Sophie. I have a doctorate in literature, which means I get way too emotionally invested in the shows that I'm watching. If you're looking for a reactor that likes to overanalyze, talks about symbolism and character development and themes, then you're definitely in the right place. So why don't you hit that subscribe button so you never miss a video? Today, we are reacting to the first episode of Monster. This has been highly recommended to me by my good friend Jay. When I first started this channel, Jay was actually recommending Monster like so much, like was continuously being like, I think you would really enjoy Monster. And I was like, oh, I don't really know anime. Like maybe I'll watch it eventually. And Jay was like, no, trust me, I know what you like. You'll love this. And I was like, let me just kind of ease myself in. I'll watch Attack on Titan and I'll watch Death Note, watch some like popular animes, and then kind of like branch into something more kind of obscure because Monster is an older show. So I was like, I will watch it. Just give me time. And Jay was like, yep, no problem at all. And yeah, so this is very much thanks to Jay that this has come to our channel. But also, I have seen over the last year and a half that we have been doing React content. Jeez, time flies when you're having fun. And there's nearly 20,000 of you here on this channel, and there's like 1,000 of you on Patreon, which is insane to me. So thank you so much for all the love and support. But I have seen a lot of people saying, okay, well, you enjoyed Death Note, but you didn't love it as much as you thought you were going to love it, and you like thriller and crime. So why not check out Monster? You'd really enjoy Monster, especially because there's like this psychological, philosophical depth to it. And I was like, okay, I'm gonna have to watch Monster because not only has Jay recommended it to me, and Jay is one of my best friends, I can't let him down. Everyone is kind of also encouraging me to watch it. And yeah, I decided after Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood was done, we'd watch Monster. I don't know what's going to come after Monster, but I mean, we are just starting a new adventure, so this probably will be running for the next like 5 to 6 months anyway, so we've plenty of time to figure out what's coming after this. But I am very much looking forward to seeing this show. I don't actually really know anything about Monster other than the fact that it is a psychological thriller, and I know I have the manga down there before anyone tries to out me in the comments being like, she's read the manga, she knows the story. I haven't actually read it. I bought the manga because I had a feeling that I would enjoy the philosophical, psychological context of the show based on what my friend Jay has told me. I'm going to preemptively buy the manga so then I have it. So when I finish the show, I can actually read the manga because, you know, it's crime, it's thriller, it's psychological. So it's sat there ready for me to go once I've watched this. But without further ado, let's get into episode 1 of Monster, and I'm very excited. This is Revelations. Who is like the beast and who can fight it? So kind of, I guess, setting up the premise that to fight a monster, you almost have to become a monster yourself, that you have to do things and get your hands dirty.
あんな難しい部位の脳動脈瘤をあの速さでクリッピングするなんて。ああ、素晴らしいオペだったよ。ヘル、ドクター天馬。健三天馬は天才だということを改めて確認したよ。
Is this based in Germany? Because they're calling him Hair. I couldn't be a doctor. It's so stressful. Literally someone's life like in your hands. No.
今日は外来もないし、ゆっくり休め。
You're on the threshold of life and death. Like, that's terrifying. Plus the 6-hour surgeries. Easy.
ねえ父ちゃんは父ちゃんはどうなったの
Oh. So young, he doesn't understand. Ooh, okay, Dusseldorf. I've never been to Dusseldorf. I lived in Munich for like a year. I loved it. Such a good experience. don't really speak any German though, so I do apologize.
こら起きろ。役柄が逆でしょ。キスで目覚めるのは私みたいなお姫様のはず。
エヴァ、来てたのか。
デートの
Sleeping
約束
Beauty
忘れてたでしょ、天蔵。
あ、いや、忘れてないよ。
亡命した東ドイツ貿易局顧問のリーベルト氏が二卵性ソーセージの娘さん息子さんとともに明るい表情を見せてくれました。
こら、ダメよ起きて。あなたのニュースよ。
オペラ歌手ローゼンバッハさんですが、術後の経過は順調のようです。ローゼンバッハさんの診断名は破裂脳動脈瘤です。手術自体は予定通り。彼の歌声を蘇らせるために全力を尽くします。
Brain aneurysms are
これまでも
terrifying.
数多くの困難な手術を成功させてきたハイネマン医師のチームですが、
Are they not even gonna name him? It was because of him that it was successful.
僕のニュースじゃなく、君のパパのニュースだよ。
それはそうだけど、でもそれもあなたが言うべ父のチー
Yeah,
ムで
but
完璧な手
his
術
dad
を
is
して
the
くれたから
one
よ。
sort of taking the credit for it.
僕がこうしてドイツでやっていけるのも、君のお父さんのおかげだからね。
頑張って健三。父についていけば絶対に大丈夫。そしたらあなたもすぐに外科部
But
長。
what if he starts
ゆく
seeing
ゆくは
things at the
院
hospital that he doesn't agree with?
そして私は院長夫人。幸せにしてよ。私に苦労は似合わないから。
Oh wow, okay. So she's like, I want to stay at home. You earn all the money, and I'll just stay here and do nothing. Wants a soft life, an easy life. Don't we all though?
相変わらず見事なオペだったよ、ドクター天馬。
You'd need such a
ありがとうござい
steady
ます。
hand.
うまいのはオペだ
I
けじゃ
wouldn't
な
be
い
able と
み
do
たいだ
it.
けどね。その若さでチーフの座に座り、院長も外科部長も大のお気に入り。しかも院長の娘のハートまでときたもんだ。病院は政治の世界だからな。
I was gonna say, it was like,
君だって院長にうまく利用されてることは分
the
かって
higher
る
you
よね。
rise, the faster you
君が
fall,
成
you
功
know?
させたオペ
Or
ラ
the
歌
harder
手の
you
手術
fall.
をさも自分がやったようにテレビで記者会見だもんな。まあ利用されるってことは実力があるってことだ。君が出世したら俺のこともよろしくて。
Because he's like on the up and up, like he's getting more and more success. But it kind of feels like maybe something's going to happen and he's not going to achieve that level of success that he's aspiring for. Well, he doesn't even look like he's aspiring for it. It's like everyone's aspiring for it for him. Why is she glaring at him? Did he do the
何
surgery
か
on her husband
あ
or?
んたドクター天馬。うちの人返してよ。あんた
Whoa
どうしてうちの人を手術してくれなかったんだ。うちの人の方が早くこの病院に担ぎ込まれたのに、あんなオペラ歌手なんかより先に運び込まれ
It's
た
all
んだ。
politics.
なのに後回しにしたんだ。あんたこの病院で一番腕の立つ医者だそうじゃないか。なんで
It's because the opera singer is rich and famous that they prioritized him over a regular person.
ドクターテンマ、
It's all politics.
君はこっちじゃない。大至急第一手術室の方に行ってくれ。院長からのお達しだ。急いでくれ。
Yeah, I was gonna say it definitely wouldn't have been his choice.
あんたが手術してくれれば助かったんだ。
Oh,
あんたがあの人返せ。
oh, that must be heart wrenching for him
そのドレス友達と奪い
because he didn't have a
あのサイズ
choice.
一着しかないんだもの。
It's all superficial. The conversation she's having with him when he's going through this like ethical dilemma.
もし僕が出頭していたら、あのトルコ人のクランケをなんとか助けることができたかもしれない。僕はただ院長の命令通り、あのオペラ歌手のオペをしただけなんだ。僕に責任はない。
当たり前よ。人の命は平等じゃないんだもの。
Oh, wow. If she thinks that, she's obviously learnt that from her father. Yeah, that doesn't sit well with him. It also doesn't sit well with me. How could you think that way?
うちの人を返してよ。
Everyone's life is valuable and of importance. To think that an opera singer is more important than a construction worker is just foul.
あの屋敷か。
The issue is that people genuinely do think that way, that the rich
銃声は何
deserve
発だ5、6発です
special treatment
この
over
家
the
の住人
poor.
もそれが先日東ドイツから
Oh,
亡
the
命して
man
き
with
た
the
ゲーベル都
twins.
市の住居だそうです
Oh, it's dark. It's eerie. Oh, fuck. Where's the kids?
誰かいるぞ
It's the girl. Their daughter.
男女2名は絶命少年1名重体です繰り返します少年1名
Oh no. What's happened there? So they were defectors from East Germany. So could it be like political murder that they were targeted because they defected? This is so interesting.
頭に銃弾
I'm really enjoying this.
クランケはその男の子一人な
But
のか
why didn't they shoot the girl? That's so strange that they shot the boy, they shot the parents, but
わか
not
ったあと5分以内に病
a
院に到着する
surviving witness. Unless it's to make a statement, but it seems weird that somebody would suddenly have a heart not to shoot a little girl.
何を言ってるんだ天馬君エヴァはもう君の婚約者じゃないかどうだねお茶でも一杯飲んでいかんかね
I don't think they'll be engaged for much longer. I feel like she doesn't align with his worldview.
ドイツに来た時の健三は高校生の男の子かと思っ
Does
た
he
わ
actually like her, or does he just
それが
feel
今や
indebted
アイス
to
ラー記
them
念病院の若
that
き
he
医師
can't say
ナンバーワン
no?
ところで健三今は君がやっているくも膜下出血後の脳血管連縮の研究だが
はい犬のくも膜下出血のモデルを作っています
すまんがその研究はキャンセルだ
Why?
次の欧州救急医学会総会で私がシンポジストとして発表することになってね君に走行をまとめてもらいたいんだ
So you cancel his important research just to make him write a speech for you to make you look good?
いやしかし今日の昼間は参ったよ
どうなさったのお父様
うさんくさい民間団体
And then he just like steamrolls over him, doesn't even give him an actual reason.
騒ぐんだ先に運び込まれたトルコ人の怪我人を後回しにしたとね
You did?
実はトルコ人の方が先に行われているんだよ
No, it wasn't. He's lying because he saw the documentation. This is so corrupt. He wants him to lie as well and basically say that it happened earlier than it did, that they didn't put it off to prioritize this opera singer.
とにかく私の発表の走行は頼んだよ
Wow. He just wants to take all the credit without doing any of the work for this young, upcoming neurosurgeon. Won't even allow him to do his own research because the research might take away from him, which is why he never mentions his name because he wants all the glory. He wants the spotlight. He doesn't actually want to shine any credit on him. That's why his research is being stopped. So then he can work on the guy's manuscript. And then when he works on his manuscript, he can take credit for it, but he was the one that actually did it.
銃弾は前頭部からか直ちにレントゲン写真を
So, like, here? They would have held the gun to his head.
あドクター天馬
今の男の子の双子の妹です
外傷は
ありません
She's in
た
shock.
だ精神的ショックが大きいようで
なんだい
殺してドクター天馬
Kill?
頭部写真と CT スキャンが出来上がっています
わかった今行く
Is this going to be a situation where she ends up, like, in a mental asylum or something? So she can't actually testify to what truly happened, and the boy's not going to remember because
銃弾が左
amnesia?
中大脳動脈をかすめている
なるほどドクター天馬の
He's so
言う通り
lucky
だ
to be alive.
こりゃ厄介だぞ
銃弾を少しでも動かしたら破裂して大出血するかもしれないなドクターベッカー当直のあなたがこんなに遅れてどうするんですか
ちょっと時間がかかりますがみんな頑張っていきましょう
None of that means anything to me, but I'm not a doctor of
血圧
medicine.
180脈拍92良好です
麻酔かかりました
Oh, look how small he is.
ロベッカ師匠が脳血栓で倒
They're
れたん
doing
だ
it again. He's going to refuse, I
今
think.
ヘリでこっちに向かっているあと10分で到着する予
Because
定だ
Becca killed the last one by accident
てください
because it was done too late. I don't think he's going to go. I think he's going to work on the boy.
しかし、たった今あの子供のオペを開始するところだったんで
It's
すよ。
really vital. One wrong move and the boy could hemorrhage, and he knows that.
長からのお達しだ。
I think he's gonna tell the director to shut the fuck up and that he's not gonna go. There's gonna be consequences though in refusing the director, isn't it? Like he's gonna be penalized and probably demoted because it's all politics.
しか
It
し
won't be
院長、
fine. It should be
僕は
fine. It
たった
won't be
今別の
fine.
オペを開始するところで、
そっちはドクター・ベッカーに任せればいい。
No, not after what happened last time.
市長はドクター・ボンヤにお任せします。あの子供のオペは僕が執刀しなければ無理なんです。
天馬君、ともかく全力を挙げて市長を救ってくれたまえ。
No, what? What?
市長は次の医療審査で我々の病院に対する助成金を大幅に増額することを約束してい
Oh
る。
my god, this is so greedy. It's about money, it's about politics, it's about power. It's not about the very basics of being a doctor, which is saving human lives. You foul gremlin of a man. I don't think he's going to do it though. I think
市長がヘリポートに
what
到着
happened
した
with
ぞ。
that woman's husband's going to really
CT の
impact
後
him.
すぐ暗行だ。
Oh, he's going to have to make a choice.
さあ、準備をしておくれよ、ドクター・テンマ。君の天才的な腕、頼りにしてるよ。
Out of the two of them, though, the mayor's easier to work on. The boy could so easily die.
我々は人の命を救う以前に学級のトップ。
No, he doesn't believe in
そう
that.
だろ、そうだろ。
僕
No,
は
he's not gonna go.
院長の命令通りあのオペラ歌手のオペを
He's
した
not
だ
gonna
けなら
go.
僕に責任はない。
But this would be his fault if he doesn't stand for what he believes in. And he doesn't believe that all people's lives weren't created equal. He believes that they're equal. His job is to save those that are most in need. Not for power, not for politics, not for gain. Go on. Help the boy. I don't envy him. It's such like a
僕は
hard
向こうでオペが待ってます。
position to be in.
院長の命令
It
だぞ。
doesn't matter. The tenets of being a doctor is to prioritize those most in need, and he already had a
わかった。
surgery that he was preparing for.
ドクター・テンマ。
This boy's case is more urgent than the mayor's. It doesn't matter that the mayor's important. It matters that the boy needs urgent care.
大
He
丈夫
needs his genius.
頑張れ。僕が助けてやる。
Oh, God love her. She's traumatized. What have you seen? Kill.
殺して
Oh, okay. I can see why people definitely highly recommended this to me because it very much is that ethical, moral dilemma of do you go along with what the elites are telling you to do and then shrug off responsibility by saying you are only following orders, or do you stand up for what you believe in and what you know is right? This idea of I only followed orders is something that you could literally say about anything, especially something horrific. I think at some point you have to weigh up, do I deflect taking blame and accountability for something, or do I stand up for what I believe in? And that's the situation that Temba is finding himself in, is I can sit and say that I only followed orders, that I wasn't to blame for what happened to this woman's husband, but if I had done the surgery, he would have lived. And yeah, I was told to go elsewhere, but I should have stood up for what I believed in. He's trying to deflect his guilt initially because he's saying, well, it wasn't my fault. I was following orders. I was following direction. It's not my fault. It's not my fault. It's not my fault. But you can see that that guilt is weighing on him. I think subconsciously he's like, it was my fault. I should have done the surgery. I shouldn't have listened. And then the shock and horror when he hears Eva say, not all lives are created equally. And then we're seeing that play out in the hospital environment. He's like, you have to prioritize the mayor because the mayor is going to increase our subsidiary. You have to prioritize the opera singer because we'll get more fame and notoriety if we're successful. They're prioritizing the rich and famous over those that are most in need. They're saying that the lives of those that are able to benefit them are more important than those who are genuinely in need because they have nothing to offer. So this Turkish construction worker is seen as being of no value, no importance in comparison to an opera singer because what does he provide and offer? It's not about that. Being a doctor isn't about money, wealth, or fame. And we're seeing this shift that the subject of medicine and helping those in need who are in dire situations, this whole Hippocratic oath of protecting the sanctity of human life at all costs and helping those in need, regardless of wealth, status, or background, is completely being ignored. The director of the hospital is basically saying, like, we shouldn't be advancing our skills in medicine. We should be focusing on our academic research. But at the same time, it's telling Temba, I don't want you to continue doing your own research because I want you to write my manuscript and I want you to focus on that. Because again, he's taking all the acclaim for Temba's actions, for what Temba is doing. Because Temba is in his team, he is the one that's saying, oh, yeah, well, he's in my team, so therefore his success is my success. But instead of actually giving him the credit that he is owed and due for his hard work and diligence and the steadiness of his hand and his genius, he's acting as if he was the one that did the surgery. He's also relocating him away from those that are most in need to prioritize those that are able to financially benefit him and what he wants. There's a very selfish, greedy aspect to the way that this hospital is working. And because Temma has now decided that I'm not actually going to agree with this, I'm not going to go and work on this mare when I was just about to work on this boy. This boy is desperately in need of my help. If anything even minutely goes wrong, this boy will die. It's so severe, this placement of the bullet, that he could hemorrhage if we even move it in the slightest wrong direction. So why would I entrust a doctor that worked on a previous surgery that I should have done, where that person then died, with this boy's life? I clearly can't trust that he's going to do it properly because the previous surgery was delayed. It wasn't done on time and the man ended up dying as a result. Even though the director is lying, saying, oh, it's all a misunderstanding. It was actually done before the opera singer surgery. They're covering it up. They're covering up that they actually prioritized the opera singer over the construction worker because they know that that's not going to go down well, that they're prioritizing the rich and wealthy over the everyday person. Because why would you want to go to that hospital if you knew that your life was going to be seen as less important than a celebrity? You're not going to go there. So he's covering it up. Unfortunately, it's not immune to the real world because that does happen. We've seen that firsthand right now with American politics. We'll not delve into that though because this video will end up probably getting suppressed. Either way, he likely is going to be penalized now. He's going to find that he is punished because he didn't listen to the director and there'll be consequences. So I think we're seeing like the premise of him becoming this like up and coming doctor, that he's going to become the director one day himself, and that everything seems to be going in his favor. Everything's going well for him. He's engaged to the director's daughter. He's got all this like renown in hospital for his genius. They're all hedging their bets that he's going to only go up from here. In refusing the director, I think we're going to see he's probably going to be demoted from the head of neurosurgery. He's probably going to be relocated elsewhere. He's probably going to be given a lot of like really shitty cases, shitty shifts, not actually given anything that is valuable. It wouldn't even shock me if they just fired him, that were just like, well, you didn't listen to us, so off you go, you're not going to work here anymore. So I think we're going to see this consequence, that even though what he did was admirable, that he stood up for what he believed in, he's going to be penalized as a result. And we may end up seeing this sort of maybe dilemma of him going, well, was it worth it? Was it worth standing against the director to save this boy when all of this has come as a result, that the consequences of that have led to me suffering, and if I had listened to him, maybe things could have worked out better. It seems to be setting up that premise, but yeah, it's going to be really interesting to kind of find out what happened with the family, because the young boy has been shot like here. So obviously the gun's at an angle, and then his parents have been killed, but then his sister was left alive, which again, even though she's suffered like the mental trauma, which means she can't really communicate, she's kind of in this locked in state where she can just repeat the one word of kill, which may be what she heard them saying in the house that they were going to kill. And that's why she keeps reiterating it. But she's, I think, going to be an important figure, but it's going to probably take a while to unlock those memories. I think she may end up most likely being put into an asylum because there is no one to look after her. Her parents are dead, her brother's too young and is currently going through surgery, and we don't know the ramifications of that surgery because brain injuries are severe. So we don't know what the long-term consequence of that is going to be, because I mean, if you've ever read into like brain injuries and like sports, the repeated hitting of your head can lead to excessive aggression, it can lead to memory loss, it can lead to impact in your cognitive abilities in wrestling with the situation. It can also make you more like stoic and less emotional because it can impact your ability to empathize. So what the consequences of that are going to be on this young boy with it hitting his, well, not hitting, it grazed, is probably something the show will delve into as the series progresses. That we'll see the impact, and then obviously the girl is a witness to what happened to her brother and her parents, which could be linked to them having defected from the East. They're either being targeted for having defected, or they're being targeted because people don't like that they came here and probably think that they're maybe spying for the East and want to get rid of them. I'm not sure, but it's definitely a very interesting premise. And once again, one of the core themes is this importance of life. I'm seeing it in sort of every single anime we've watched, is just the value of life, the importance of life itself, that life is something that is precious and should be valued, and we shouldn't just overlook it as something that isn't of worth, that we shouldn't take it for granted. I mean, it's been in every single show I've watched. Also, you tend to see sort of like this ethical dilemma of, is it ever right to take a human life? And it always seems to like throw the question back onto us as the audience as to what would we do? Would we take a human life, or would we align with the views of the show in that all human life is precious, all human life is of value? But then it always likes to throw like a little spanner in the works of showing you somebody that's really heinous and then being like, is all life valuable? Can you align with this idea that all life should be treated equally when you have someone heinous like this? Vinland Saga does it really well with Kettle and his treatment of Arnheid, where you're kind of, you really want him to be dead, and it's really cruel that Arnheid is dead and Kettle's alive, and it kind of makes you want him to die, and then you're kind of like, yeah, but that's the whole purpose of the show, is showing that no one deserves to die, even the most heinous of people. So yeah, I have just noticed that it's like an ongoing trend. It's in Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood, Attack on Titan, Vinland Saga, it's in Death Note, it's in Monster now, it's in not so much Freerun. Freerun kind of more deals with life being precious and never taking it for granted, because you never know how long you're going to have left with that person. It's not so much about life being equal across the board. It's more about the preciousness of life and valuing those that you have around you before it's too late, rather than looking at it as like, should this person die or should this person not die? Because the only sort of real antagonists in Freerun are demons, and yeah, that's a whole thing. But a lot of these shows kind of wrestle with like the ethical morality. So because shows are influenced by our political situations, but are also influenced by the societies that we live within, I wonder if this is almost influenced by Japan having the death penalty. And I wondered this with Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood, because they kind of delve into this idea of if all lives are equal, then what makes it okay for someone to take someone else's life? Because if we value all lives, then we shouldn't sanctify this idea of killing people no matter how heinous they are. But I wonder if it is sort of influenced by Japan's legalization of the death bounty, if this is just their way of kind of not so much preaching against it or preaching for it, but more a way of wrestling with the ethical dilemma, because there are people in society that are pro death penalty and there are people that are against the death penalty. And it is an ethical question. It's a question of morality, and it's one that is very heated and a very difficult one that people wrestle with, especially when it comes to specific crimes. So I do wonder if like the death penalty in Japan influences authors to kind of want to almost replicate that ethical dilemma in their work, that if all life is equal, then why do we treat some lives better than other lives? If all life is equal, how can we justify murdering someone else for committing a crime and it not be wrong? I don't know. It's just a pattern that I'm noticing in these shows is this dilemma of life and this idea of rejecting killing at all costs, even if the person is the worst person in the world. But I really enjoyed episode 1, so I'm looking forward to seeing episode 2 and how this progresses. But thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this react, please consider liking, subscribing, and leaving a comment below to help boost this video into the algorithm. And until next episode, bye!